I might.
What's that? Your sound. Go ahead.
I know.
It's not echoing that.
See, we're not supposed.
Maybe after that.
Can you guys hear us? Oh wait, turn it back. Can you hear us? Just a minute, hold it.
Yes, they can.
Okay. I don't mind if you hear us. Okay, we're good. All right, we're good. Got it. The other mic was on and it should have been off. Okay. All right, guys. And we're gonna start again because evidently nobody heard what we said. Is it good, Monica? Okay. So good. What the echo? So we are on with the Phillipses, the other Phillipses, Tony and ALishia Phillips. And okay, we're gonna start again. How long have you guys been married?
We have been married 16 years.
Still got it wrong.
15 years. Going on 16. October 11th will be 16 years.
Okay.
All right. Mm-hmm.
And how did it start? So you said you've been married almost 16 years. When did you guys meet?
You tell me.
Okay, so we met in probably January, February of 2008.
Okay.
At that time, Tony and I were both early on in our recovery efforts. And so we met at an NA meeting.
Yep.
Okay.
I remember walking up and seeing this girl standing outside. I thought she was Indian.
Not.
But she wasn't.
She was.
I thought she was Mexican. But she wasn't.
No. You was wrong on both.
Yeah, so I kind of was attracted to that. See a person doing a Pharaoh.
So you met at a NA meeting in Farrell?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Southwest
Southwest Garden used to have NA meetings down there.
Saturday morning meetings. So at that time, I was living at the women's shelter in Farrell.
Okay.
So I had walked down to that meeting and saw him leaning against the wall, listening to his music, and we didn't really talk to each other. We just noticed each other. And then after I was continuing to go to meetings, my sponsor at the time was married, and both her and her husband were in recovery, and he was good friends with her husband, and so she used to pick me up for the meeting, and then we'd pick him up, and so we were kind of just around each other a lot, and
I don't even, from the start though, it wasn't even like I was trying to date her, we were trying to pick each other up. Basically, we kind of more or less were just friends. We kind of just at the same meetings together. That's what, you know, just being friends and stuff like that. Because I was also at the time seeing another person at the time.
both of us were.
Both of us were.
My other half was incarcerated, and his was still using.
Yeah, and mine was still actively using.
Mm.
But our sponsor's husband, he always kept basically pushing me more and more, saying, "Man, she really likes you. You know, you two should hook up. You should hook up. She really likes you." And I was like, no, she's with somebody and all this and that. So really didn't, you know, it still was just the same thing. I wasn't really looking to like hook up with her or anything like that. She was just a really nice person. I thought she was very beautiful, you know. So, but I thought I was really attracted to her after a while.
What about you, ALishia?
I mean, I was coming out of a very bad relationship, and Tony was just somebody that I found myself wanting to share all my positive things with. I can remember when I got my car, um, going up, he worked at Giant Eagle at the time at Hot Foods, and I can remember like driving up there with my great aunt, my little co-pilot, going in there to tell him, yeah, I got my car and everything. And I just found myself like anything positive that happened, I wanted to share with him.
Right.
So,
Okay. So I just want to interject. So you said you all met at NA.
yes,
So you all are clean.
correct.
How many years have you all been clean?
I'll do the years for you. It'll be 17 this year.
Oh, no, we're gonna give y'all that. 17 years clean. Now, did you all do this together, or did you do it separately?
What do you mean? The recovery part?
Yes,
Separate. Yeah.
you're separate.
Your recovery should be your recovery.
Okay.
We might have gone to a meeting together, but we never sat in the same groups. For my job, I'm a therapist and I work with people with substance use. And that is one thing I interject. If you and your other half are both in recovery, it needs to be your own recovery. I can't do his recovery. He can't do my recovery program.
Okay.
She did hers, her program. I did my program.
Okay.
That's amazing. 17 years clean. Now, are you still in? I don't want to say in recovery.
Do we still go like
ongoing? Do you do meetings, maintenance, like what some people? No.
Different things work for different people. I always suggest NA or AA as a foundation, especially if you're coming off of years of use and you don't have a stable support system. So with me at that time, I wasn't close to my family. I had done a lot of things that had caused a lot of mistrust there. So NA was like my foundation.
Okay.
It was where I gained all of my support until I was stable enough on my own. So I did NA for a while, but then after a while, we found ourselves just more focused on going to church. And so that became our program.
Earlier on my addiction, when I got clean, I did the rehab and everything. And my mother had given me a book, and it was called The Spirit of a Man by ALishia Phillips. And it had like all kind of different meditations and prayers and things like that. So I took the book with me to the rehab, and I started studying the book. And in the process of doing that, it kind of opened me up to my spiritual side. So I kind of learned how to work program and the spiritual side and learned to work them together.
Okay.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? To work them together. But the recovery part of it for me was, I'll never forget, it was when I was out on the track one day and I was walking around, because I used to get up every morning, I'd run around the track and run and stuff like that. And I was just not in a good place at that point in time when I was doing that to rehab, and I was feeling like, I wasn't gonna be able to make it through and do things like that. And I just started praying and crying out to God and asking him, listen, I can't do this on my own. I need you. Can you, please help me do this? Yeah. And I'll never forget, I felt something touch me. And it truly was, I believe it was the hand of God. And I heard a voice in my ear say, I got you.
Okay.
And then from that point on, it was there's no turning back.
So you were delivered, basically.
Yes.
Right.
Like it was just, which we all know that God can do.
Right.
For some people, it does take the NA steps, and which is what you did. But there's a point, like you said, God, I can't do this by myself.
And
he delivered you from it.
it's funny that you mentioned Iyanla Vanzant, because that's actually a book that I use, not that book specifically, but she has a spiritual journal. That's a 40-day and 40-night spiritual journal. And that's the book that I used in rehab. But he's never shared that before. So that's the first time I've ever made that connection.
So we do here on You, Me, and Me, right? Shit. Shit. That's wonderful.
So gradually through our, going to the meetings and stuff like that, kind of, the little heartstrings started going, heart pumping type of thing. We would go out to eat and stuff, a little sly little
And touches
in the back seat and things like that. But but they tell you even in the program not to get
13 steps.
13 steps not to get romantically involved with other individuals.
Right.
We kind of were hard headed on that part. But I told her one time when she kept talking about her, I can't remember the dude's name. But she was saying at the time because she was talking about they were getting married when he got out. And not even in my thinking I'm going to be with her or anything like that. I told her, I was like, you're not married, dude. Like, you know, like you keep saying that you're not married.
Yeah.
And then slowly, you know, things happened. We ended up getting together. And then she took me to court. Had to go to
I didn't take him to court. I charged him with something. I provided the transportation.
Oh, okay.
I needed to take care of some things, and in my head, I was saying, you know, when I got back to where I was staying at with the other individual, I was like, you know, this chick ain't there, man. You know what I'm saying? I know she's not doing shit. I'm like, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm just leaving the relationship. And so when I got there, where she wasn't there, I just started packing up my stuff and I called ALishia and I was like, listen, can you come pick me up? You know, I'm leaving here. I can't keep doing this. And she came and picked me up. And then from there, here we are.
All right. Well, that was good.
Yeah.
I got my. Can you tell me about year one? Because I know we have shared our first year of marriage, which, you know, if you all go back and look at the video, I was ready to be done after the first year.
So let me, I'll talk about year one.
She didn't wear no parts of me. I mean, you feel the same way about? Oh, like he ain't want no parts of me.
Well, like he said, for one thing, you know, everybody had us counted out before we even began because we were two recovering addicts that had only dated for 6 months.
We only dated 6 months
before we got married. So, so we dated, we got married. Now, let me just backtrack a little bit. So when I went and picked him up, at that time I was renting a room from somebody. I couldn't take him back to where I was staying, and he obviously had no place to go. So we ended up going to another friend's house that rented us a room, and we were on Wallace, and we stayed in that room probably about a month. Mm-hmm. And then his brother was alive at the time, and he allowed us to live in the basement of his home until we could save up money for our first apartment. So this is all during our dating time. And so we lived in his brother's basement and stayed there and saved up some money for our first apartment. And then we were able to rent a 2-bedroom house.
Okay.
And then we got married in October. Now, I think I failed at some point to ask Tony how many children he had. That used to be like one of my, you know, things that I checked, but he slid through and under the radar with that one. So
yeah, you missed that.
Yeah, I definitely forgot that question. So, you know, Tony has 5 daughters and 1 son. So he had removed himself from his 3 youngest children's life at one point because of his active addiction. And with him being, you know, sober, he had started connecting with them again and calling them. So a month after we got married, it was Thanksgiving break. And so we had planned to go get the 3 youngest. They lived in Rochester, New York. And the plan was that they were coming back with us for a week. And we're going to stay with us and everything. That was one of the best days, I think, for Tony, just to go up there and see his kids. But it was the first time Anthony had ever laid eyes on his father. And he was 7. Because Tony had left when he was a baby. So I can just remember him opening the door and just crying when he saw his dad, you know. So the plan was for them to come back with us, stay a week, and then they would go back to Rochester. And while they were with us, some things were discussed and some things were told. And so we were going to keep Tony Janae. She was going to stay with us. We were going to send the other 2 back. So we only had a 2-bedroom house. And we didn't have room for 3 kids. And so we let their mother know. And at first she was fine. She had been pushing Tony to stay with her dad. And then she wasn't fine. Then she was fine again. It was a lot of back and forth. So we ended up packing all the kids up after the week, putting them in the car and driving to Rochester. And by the time we got to Buffalo, she had called and basically told us to keep all the kids. So we didn't even go to the house. We just made a U-turn and came right back.
Here we are.
Wow. So that was all in the first year, or should I say
First month.
First month.
First month.
Now, how are you feeling? Like, what did you look?
What did I get to?
What did-
See, we only got 2 beds.
Yeah.
And the kids like she wasn't.
Yeah. Like, what did I sign myself up for?
Kids.
Yeah. So I went from being single to a wife and a mother, like all in one full swoop. But from the moment those kids got into the car, they were like, "What are we supposed to call you?" And Tony and I was like, "I don't know." He's like, "Call her ALishia," and then they're like, "We'll call you Mom," and that's what they've always called me. You know, he doesn't call me Mom, but they call me Mom. But so that was and there was after that there was court hearings and stuff because to gain custody. So it was a lot, but I'm very thankful for the people that we've surrounded ourselves with, not only our friends, our family, but like the people because both him and I were working at Giant Eagle by that time, and all the people at Giant Eagle like donated clothes, donated furniture items, got us things that we needed and made it doable, and our families just, welcomed the kids like they were mine, like as far as my family goes.
How long did the kids stay with you?
I mean, they just left.
Just left. What else without that?
So you
So
had
the first
had
half was the same
Janae.
one.
We had Tony, Janae, we had Tati, and Anthony.
and Tati. All right.
Yeah.
My oldest daughter,
That's right. They just leave.
yeah, my oldest daughters, they were already
Yeah.
They were grown.
adults there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He literally just left.
She just left.
Monday.
So empty nesters.
Again, we're gonna try to keep that way this time.
Fontanese Green said community is very important.
Yes.
You don't think you could have made it without community?
No, I
Yeah.
don't.
It would have been really rough. It would have been hard.
They came with one duffel bag for 3 kids.
3 kids.
And
Oh,
all
not
of
one
their
double
things
bag
were in there.
each.
And they had no toys. I'm talking nothing.
Shoot, in the second one, they had a bunk bed, so they all slept in that one room because at that time they just had the bunk beds in there, and we had our room.
It was like a futon at the bottom and the twin up top. So
Mhm.
Anthony slept up top and the
And the
girl
girls
slept
down.
on the bottom.
So after that first month, did you feel like, okay, I'm in it to win it? Well, whatever comes, because if you can deal with all that in the first month,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think from the moment I met Tony, like I saw in him somebody that was wanting to change and wanted to grow. And I think that's what drew me to him, is that desire to do better.
right?
And I think even with having the kids, like it wasn't, we weren't prepared. We were making minimum wage at the time. Neither one of us had been to college, but we utilized the resources that we could gain and we made it work. We only had one car, so everybody had to pack into the Alero, go about our,
Gotta make it work,
exactly.
especially if you're in it. Like you said, for the long haul. So many people give up after that first month or so. You could have been like, I didn't sign up for this. First of all, I didn't know you had all these kids.
Yeah.
My mom said she's a better woman than she would have been because she had found out that I have 6 kids, but 5 of them was girls. She would have like,
There we go.
not even just 6, just because you got 5 girls.
Yeah.
What your mom say?
My family loves them.
What would they say about
kids?
the kids come along?
I mean,
They were like the
nothing
grandkids.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my mom, she's been grandma from the get-go. But yeah, no, we joke around. Like my mom, we always say that my little brother Matthew is the favorite. He's the favorite child. And then it's Tony. Tony goes next.
Okay.
And then me, and then my brother Andrew. So like that's the hierarchy.
That's
Like in order.
Yes. So, but no, my family, they did as much to help as well too. Yeah. Our families know each other.
Yeah.
Our
Yeah.
families,
Yeah.
the Mounts and the Phillipses have grown up with each other. Like my grandma was talking about how she could remember you guys running around little with like Uncle Eric and everything. Like they know each other.
Yeah.
DDR Brown. We always, it's DDR Brown. She said everybody has a story to tell. She said, but thank you both for being vulnerable. She said, but God, and it is, it's a but God moment. But for the grace of God, where, without community, without God, imparting into people to say, you know what,
Right.
we're just going to wrap ourselves around them. We're going to love them. Even with family, your parents could have, your mom could have rejected them. Like,
Right.
these are not my grandkids.
Yeah.
Especially in a biracial marriage. So many times, one or the other is like, no, y'all stay over there, we'll stay over here.
Yeah, let's let those in their family. Like they didn't, even though what I'm saying, I didn't.
Look at it.
He's fine.
Even though when I seen her, I didn't see like a white woman or anything like that. I just seen a woman,
Right.
that basically stepped up and took on
Raise
something
somebody
that
else's children.
most women would have not taken on. You know what I'm saying? So I really didn't. I didn't look at it like a black and white thing or anything like that. I just looked at this as a woman who, who stepped up and took on a responsibility that she didn't have to
Right.
take on. You know what I'm saying? And her family, from day one, they never. I didn't feel anything from them as they were looking at me as the black guy. They treated me as a man. You know what I'm saying? From the gate. There was nothing but respect, and I could tell it was genuine. It wasn't fake or it wasn't phony, like you were just putting on airs about it. They were very genuine about the way they received me and the way they treated me. So that was a big plus too.
That you would dignity and respect.
Yeah, I can.
Like I said, there was no fake or anything phony about it, or putting on airs or anything like that. Just accepting me just like that, like I was just a man.
Right.
I can remember my great aunt that I said was like my co-pilot. When Tony wrecked a van one year, he fell asleep at the wheel and flipped and hit a tree. And she took me to the hospital, and she had helped us co-sign on that van. And so the first thing Tony was saying was like, oh my gosh, Mary Lou's going to be so mad at me. Oh my gosh. And she was just in tears because she was so worried about him. That was her only care less. She was just worried about him. But, I like the fact, my brother's ex-wife also was African American. So, we have a niece who's mixed, and then of course we have our family, and then, my grandson is mixed. And so it's like, my niece will never know any different. She'll see black and white on both sides of her family. So I like that about our family, because
I just tell people I'm in a social experiment.
Socialism.
He does not appreciate all the yellow and white foods we have at our reunions, but there's lots of potatoes and corn.
No potato salad. You haven't ran into raisins. No potato salad.
Nobody's even made potato salad.
I don't think so. But there's lots of.
They are starchy people, though. They're big on starches, man. No raisins in potato salad.
So let's fast forward 5 years.
5 years.
So say 5 years into the marriage. What's it looking like? We still happy? We still loving each other?
There was some.
It was a lot of rust. I mean, I keep it real, people. I wasn't the best type of person at first. There was moments of infidelity on my part. You know what I'm saying? A lot of time where she really could have left me. It wasn't. I don't know. It was just. I don't look at it like there was nothing that she was doing wrong. It was mostly just me, just still wanting to be a player, still wanting to flirt,
Stroke his ego.
to do those type of things and stuff. So there was some infidelity on my part. I still had some growing up to do in the marriage itself. Many times she could have just bounced him. You know, she really had all
So, Alicia,
reasons to be.
what made you stay?
I did bounce.
Well,
I packed up my stuff and I left and I went to his mom and he called me crying, talking about he was looking at our wedding album and he was all emotional. And when he says infidelity, at that point, it was just him flirting and not making the best choices. But yes, you know, I took a moment and I left and made him rethink his choices. But when I first married Tony, he was this wonderful man that I was just so enraptured with, as far as like, you know, I felt like he was just this good person and like I put him up on that pedestal, and then he messed up. And as men and women do, because we're human. Right. And I had to step back and acknowledge that, for one, shame on me for placing those expectations on him, because he is just human. Shame on him for doing his role in it, but we both honored and acknowledged our roles in it. And I just know that I love him. You know, it didn't take away my love from him. For him, you know, it made me reevaluate things a little bit. And it made me be, I guess, more assertive in
In what way? But why do you feel like that made you assertive?
It made me be more assertive towards him, as far as like, we need to be more open and communicate our expectations of each other better.
Okay.
And be more understanding of what this marriage is supposed to look like. Because if this is your idea of what our marriage is going to look like, then I can't stand by that. But if you are in line with what I'm looking for, and if we can come to that agreement, then we can continue moving forward.
And so, as we see, you will continue moving forward.
Yes.
As it's been almost 16 years. But of course, you know it hasn't been easy. So we're going to fast forward 5 more years. So that would be year 10. Do you all remember year 10? Where were you?
2018. So we would be in the house for 2 years.
Yeah. Our house now?
Yes, our house now. Thank you. Tony Janae would be gone. Tati was getting ready to go, right?
Right. And Anthony was still out.
Anthony was still at home. So yeah, we were dealing with Anthony. That's where we were.
So what was the dynamics in your marriage dealing with Anthony?
So that was where, by that time I had graduated with my bachelor's and I was working on my master's. And Tony has the same college education as me. He almost has his bachelor's completed in the same degree. Yes. But I'm thankful for the courses that I took in communication stuff, because I utilized I statements a lot. Because one of the main things, not so much with the girls, he kind of let me handle the girls. I don't think he really was comfortable with some of the stuff with the girls. I don't know, or maybe he thought I was a woman, so I understood things better. But when it came to Anthony, we would butt heads constantly. If I said something, why are you picking on him? If I asked him to do something, why are you asking him to do that? And for a long time, I felt that Anthony didn't respect me as like an authority person, because Tony was like contradicting things. So I had to, at one point, be like, look, I feel like this when you do this. So I feel disrespected when you constantly go behind me with Anthony. And we worked on it. We got better. We got better.
That's a lot of getting used to different things. Because I'm still in my head, I'm like, people are still individuals. We're still individuals, even though we're a married couple. I still have my feelings about things. You know, still have your feelings about things. That's where I think that's part of the marriage where it comes in. There's a lot of bumping heads because even though you're joined together as one person, you're still, in my thing, you're still I'm still my own person.
Because it's you, it's me,
Right.
and that
Right.
makes it weird.
Yeah.
Because you still can't take away from, like you said, we're still individuals.
Mhm.
You can still come to the table with some issues. Came to the table with some issues, and I'm not talking about, addiction or anything like that.
Mhm.
We all still have we're all individuals.
We all have our own
So there
character
could have
defects.
there could have been a reason why he felt like you were picking on
Mhm.
Anthony from maybe something in his past,
Mhm.
or it's a man thing and this is how we have to support one another. But the most important thing is that you all came together and, really kind of, because it's tough. Don't mess with my kids. I know they, your kids too, but they my kids. And it's a huge difference. It's just a difference where I'm more the
She's the
disciplinarian.
discipline. Yeah, she's the disciplinarian.
And so I really didn't want him to like, I got this.
Yeah, and then it seems like she was harder. There were some times that the girls would say, "Dad, Mom is yelling at us" or whatever, And I'm like kind of like the mediator, but she was the heavy,
Mhm.
Good cop.
Yeah. And then, but when he
If I did it,
tried
if
to
I did it,
discipline,
I did it all the wrong way. There was no right way for me. So I don't know what to tell you guys out there.
but when
I didn't have the.
tried to,
I couldn't
I
do
felt
it.
like he was too hard. He was too heavy. I'm like, whoa, just you know, yeah.
But see there, see.
But that's just. But again, the difference is.
With her, like when I would drop the hammer, then I was
He was gone.
Yeah.
being
Hey man, now you
hard.
move. Like, man. And I think that's something I learned from my. She go, tell it, Lou. This is one of the kids. But I learned something from my mom, and she would always say, if I'm disciplining them, my dad would never discipline us because she didn't want both of us to gang up on the kids at the same time.
Right.
So it was always, if I have it, you kind of, you pull back and vice versa.
Gotcha.
Because I don't want them to think that we both are ganging up on them, and they're like, well, who do we have? So yeah, I'm the heavy, and I wear it proud. I'm heavy with my grandkids. I'm like, because I come from a strict discipline home, and we just did not. We didn't play no foolishness. So we just.
Well, I think too, like now that I look back at it too, like it was hard being in the position I was in. Do you know what I mean? And so like I think that I needed that validation that my word meant something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because for one, they're not my biological children. And, there are several people in the community that made a point to say that it shouldn't matter what I say because I wasn't their mother. But I was, as far as I was,
Yes, you
I
are.
was doing everything that a mother would do.
Right.
And so like just needing that validation that, the things that I was doing and trying to help them with was making a difference.
So, excuse me, we have the dog here, and she's all in a part of this. But yeah, and it's those are your kids.
Yeah, they are my kids.
Biological or not. Those are your kids. You were raising. You were raising them, and yeah, you get to yeah, you want to listen to me? 'Cause I'm raising you. So yeah. All right.
All right now.
Year 15.
We're in year 15.
We're in year 15.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Uh-oh. He took a breath.
Go ahead. Let me hear. Let me hear about year 15.
Get you some water there, Tony. Get some water there, bro. Okay. It's all good.
I'll be cousin ganging up on me.
No.
Should we backtrack to 14?
Nah, it's not. It's it's still something. It's still a challenge. Marriage is just a challenge.
It's not for the
Really,
faint of heart.
it's just a challenge. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of we still bump heads on some things. Like we the past couple of weeks have been kind of up and down. You know, here and there and stuff. But the love is still there. Love will never go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Always
Right,
love.
right.
You just have to come to a common ground on things. Like I said, marriage is a challenge. You know.
Can you tell me, is there a difference between love and in love?
Well, I mean, I love my children. I'm in love with my husband.
Are you
So to
you're in
me,
love with Tony, or do you love Tony?
I'm in love.
Okay.
I'm actively doing that action. To me, in love is an action.
Mm-hmm.
Love is just an emotion, but in love is an action. That's how I see that.
How about you, Tony? Feel the same way?
I love my wife.
Are you in love with me?
Oh,
I am.
uh,
No, I am. I
We
am
did
in
drive
love.
separate cars here.
I am in love with my wife, but when I reflect on our life together, I see myself growing old with her. I can see us sitting on the porch growing old together. You know, I can't see me not having her, you know, and us not being together. And I think of our future together, you know what I'm saying? And I truthfully, I do. I see us growing old together. So,
right.
you know, I
We
know, I know that, I know that's a part, that's a part of being in love with her.
Yeah. Okay, I got another question. And you all can answer that out here that are watching. Is there a difference between love and in love? Put in the comments if y'all think there's a difference. But do you like your wife?
No,
Not all the time.
no.
Thank you for being thank you for being on.
She said that because she hated me. No.
We strongly dislike some of your actions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's something else I learned from my mom. She would tell us all the time, I love you. You're my children, I love you. But I don't like you. Today, I don't like you. I don't like the way you act. I don't like what you're saying, how you're acting. And so there are times that I don't like Luther. I don't like what you. I always love him. I will always love him. I don't like him all the time.
Sometimes I tell ALishia,
Explain.
sometimes I tell her, sometimes I think it's not that some in certain aspects it's not really her. It's a certain spirit that comes off of her that I don't like.
Okay.
You know that, and it's not me like lashing out at her. I'm lashing out at
At
this
that spirit.
spirit that's coming off
Right,
of
right.
you at me. You know what I'm saying?
Say that about me. Sometimes I'm just coming at you.
Yeah, there's times you do come at me.
But I can say there's times that you come at me,
Right, right.
you know, but I know that I cannot call my husband and expect to have a conversation with him on the phone. Tony doesn't like to talk on the phone. Tony doesn't like to talk a lot. Tony could, Tony, how's your day?
Right.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, bye. But Tony doesn't voice the things going on inside him a lot. He lets them build up, and then I'm just we're the only people there. I'm the person, so I get that. You know, we had a little disagreement, and I just, you know, used to be that I would just yeah, but I chose not to because I understand he's under some strain. I got some pressure right now. He's got some stressors. And so I knew that at that point in time, that's really what was going on. And it wasn't necessarily something I had done. It was just the amount of pressure and stress that he was feeling, and he wasn't feeling like he was getting it out anywhere. You know, I think, you know, we just have, you know, like everybody, you just have to work on communication skills. You know, you have to talk about those things before it gets to that point, and that's still kind of hard for
I think
him.
it's hard for men more or less also too because I don't have really anybody that I can go to. You know, my best friend, you know, passed away a few years ago. That was my go-to.
Right.
He was my go-to because he knew how to handle him too. Like, and he was like, "I feel you."
So really, well, my dad and stuff like that, but it's just different.
Right.
So I feel sometimes I don't have anybody that I can go to or release what I need to get out.
And I think that's so true with men. Because the same with Luther, just trying to pull some conversation out of him sometimes. When he's not used to, there's certain things that he won't say to me. Not that he doesn't want to express it, but he doesn't know what my reaction will be.
That's it.
So, and then sometimes it's like, babe, this is not a trick question. I'm not setting you up. It's just, let's just talk. And so he'll kind of gingerly say, well, kind of testing the waters. And I don't want him to feel like, and I think that's something for women. I want him to be able to come home, be at home, and feel like he can open up his heart and share his heart to me.
But they don't want to.
I believe they want to. But I don't know if they feel like it's a safe space.
Really?
Where it should be. What do you think?
Sometimes, yeah, I understand what you're saying.
You want to?
Way. It's like sometimes you do, but you want to
test
be
the water.
Careful, gingerly of how
what you say.
And I don't think it,
because I think it'll come back. It'll come back and get you.
But it doesn't.
Nah, you say it don't, but somewhere along the line it will come back and get me. Believe me.
But when is
I think just as women, we like to talk things out. We want to sit down and we want to just explore this emotion and why is this going on? And the guys are like, look, I'm not even thinking about that. I've moved on to the next thing. You know what I mean? I think, and that's another thing I think that we've worked on over the years is like really communicating in a style that what I say is actually what I mean. Do you know what I mean? And what
they're talking about? I'm sorry. They're just talking about Luther. Like, yeah, it will. It's gonna come back. It's not.
Yes.
And you're absolutely right, ALishia. I don't.
And then even sometimes in the states I have to be in, I'm in. Sometimes some things will come out. Like I said something to her a couple of days ago. It really hurt her feelings. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, in my thinking, I'm like, I don't care if it hurt your feelings or not. I'm just saying how I'm feeling at the time. But I have to understand that, I have to take that into account.
Because one thing that we won't do, or that we don't forget how you made us feel.
I'm gonna say she ain't gonna forget that, bro.
But that not just for women, but also men, but more or less for us. We're not gonna forget that. So the next time, at night, and then here you come. Oh, babe, you know what? The first thing she thinks about is what you said and how you made her feel. Right? But you forgot about it. You forgot that you said it. You might apologize, but she still remembers. We remember how that made us feel. And then you want something from me? Bruh, look. Be right on the mattress cord. No, I can get like right on the edge.
Edge of the bed.
And it's like, don't even think about it.
I'll just break out that crib mattress. I can sleep on that. I'm done.
Look, I'm sleeping right there, and you might as well roll on over, because none of this are you going to get. Because I remember how you made me feel. We're emotional. Women are emotional. Y'all can say something, let it roll off your back, blah, 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 and then keep it moving. We don't do that.
My mother just messaged me. Said that
down.
I have a mother, you have a mother who taught you, do not, what's it say? Be afraid to speak your mind. I will say, okay, that's one thing that stood out in and I've shared this with other people. Tony, at one point in our marriage, told me not to speak to him. And I told him, I said, that is one thing you do not get to tell me to do. You do not get to tell me when I cannot talk.
And what did you say to them?
Nothing. Nothing.
So we both and everything.
Those are things can come out, man.
Yeah. But sometimes,
You know, paint this table red.
yeah. Sometimes certain things need to come out so we can deal with them and not continue to, just kind of gloss over it and hide over because our feelings are valid. We might, you can't tell me how to feel. I can't tell Luther how to feel, although I might ask him, like, babe, how are you? Like, what's going on? Nothing.
Basically, that's what you get.
That's something going on. We're supposed to be the nurturer that we are. Because do we want you to turn to somebody else? Most definitely not. I don't want you to be at work and some other woman and say, Luther, you just don't seem to be yourself. What's going on? Talk to me. And the next thing you know, you just, like a waterfall and you're just telling it all. And then maybe by chance you might slip up and say, yeah, I was talking to so-and-so at work today. I told her, you told her what?
You think just talking to a different individual though sometimes is easier?
It definitely is easier.
I mean, not that you're looking for anything back, but sometimes
it's easier if you. Well, tonight you've opened up and shared some things that she didn't.
Sometimes it's easier talking to other people at times than your significant other.
So I think that's what this is just me fellowshipping with other couples, especially in marriage, that we can bounce off one another. We can be the sounding board. Now we might say, okay, ALishia, hold on, let them talk. Okay, you might be saying with me, Luther, or Lord, let Luther get it out. Don't jump on it right now. But then we just need to share with one another. Like we need
Go easy on them.
Because it is easier when you're talking to somebody else.
It's easy
because I'm not going to jump on you. Here we go with the Sunday morning.
That's what Lionel always out to say. It's easy like Sunday morning.
So we have Dr. Peachy Jefferson. She said, talking to others who only have your best interest to build you up or talk to others. And we don't have your best interest. I think that's why we're doing this podcast, just to show other people, first of all, we are human.
Right.
There are times when we don't like our spouses. And I think it's more real when other people see that we are vulnerable. 30 years down the line, look, this ninja is, and vice versa. But it hasn't been easy. There are times when we wanted to walk away. I mean, literally, I had a whole plan. I had it planned out. And I'll never forget, first few years in our marriage, the enemy told me, you can have your bags packed and everything gone by the time he get home from work. We've seen people do that before, but when their spouse get home, the house is cleaned out.
Dear John letter.
Yeah, even no letters. Look at all this. You should already know by now. But to alleviate that, I think if we do get together and then we do share, have couples nights. Let's go out and just do things to help enhance our marriage.
Build each other up.
Yeah, because this thing is not easy.
The one time, so I did the one time, and that was just to his mama's house. I came right back. But another time, I left for a few days, and the kids came home, and they're like, "Man, Dad, she took the dog." They're like, "You really messed up. You better get this straightened out. Like whatever you did, you better figure it out because she took the dog."
When you leave the kids and take the dog. Yeah, it's
I guess that's saying something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's worth it. Now I've got a question. Do you all pray together?
We haven't in a while.
Because I read a statistic. One in, let's say, 1,200 marriages do not end in divorce if you pray together. That's something Luther and I do take the time to pray with each other and for each other. There's a time we Yeah, but even as Christians, and we would do the little, God, we thank you for the day, bless us, da da da. But we actually take the time to pray for each other.
Mm-hmm.
God, give him courage, give him the wisdom, help him open up and share. Because it's so hard. It's so hard for men. We can meet some ladies out on the street. Me and Alicia could be walking down the street, and we can see, hey, 2 hours later, we have shared our lives. Because it's just the camaraderie. I don't know that women have. You all would just keep walking down the street. Y'all ain't even talking to each other. I don't know what we can or should do other than I think just building relationships with other people. And I know as we get older, we have a tendency to stay in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Not get comfortable, not get out and go. Y'all,
He goes.
Yeah.
I've been choosing to stay home some, but
But I mean, in our relationship, we was always out.
Yeah.
Or something.
well, he DJs now, so he has shows that he does in Cleveland and Youngstown and stuff, and so I just choose. I like to be at home.
Yeah.
I like the peace and quiet sometimes. So,
And it works for you guys?
mhm.
Yeah.
And if he
It's
wants
working.
to, like if he wants to go for the weekend with the guys, he goes for the weekend. I mean, even though we've had issues in our marriage, we've moved way past that. Like, I just, yeah, I know. I mean, I trust him. I trust him.
I ain't trying to be out there like that. Master, this and nothing you can do for him.
That's the thing.
Income level changes.
Just that retirement. You ain't coming with that?
Work this thing out.
We found a good thing.
Yeah, we've built things together. Like we've built on our marriage. We haven't. That was something like when I was in NA, I looked for people to surround myself with that were building something. Not that they had just stopped using, but they were building something. They were progressing and moving forward. And like I said, that's something I saw in Tony early on. And that's what we've done. We might have started out in that basement, but we are definitely way further than where we ever expected that we would be.
And then we also work, there's things that I need from her, and there's things that she needs from me, and that's we kind of work our relationship. There's things that she's very good at, and she takes care of and stuff like that, and then I am able to take other things I'm able to take care of and stuff. So we kind of build our relationship and our marriage with that too.
And the day before we had our last little spat or whatever you want to call it, disagreement, not seeing eye to eye. I had just bragged to my clients. I had just bragged to my clients that I was like, I'm so thankful that I have a marriage, and I still am, because this isn't even what the disagreement was about. But I'm still glad that I have a marriage where it's not, well, that's your thing to do and that's your thing. Like, especially now that we're back to just us, like if he cooks, I wash the dishes. If I, by some act of God, cook, he washes the dishes. You know what I mean? Like if I start the laundry, he might finish it. Like we work together. It's not a like, well, that's your thing and that's my thing. It's not.
I wish he would finish it.
I don't do laundry. I don't know.
He might finish it, but I put it all away.
Oh, that's finishing.
Exactly. That's
you put it away. That's finished.
That's the last step.
Do you have any other questions before we? I don't know. We gotta make this.
Let me ask you this: didn't you and Tony go to school together?
Tony went with Steven. Tony graduated with Steve.
You guys knew each other in school.
Oh yeah.
Wasn't there a wall in Farrell? Something about a wall in Farrell?
Every day.
Yeah, Tony was my dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I used to date his friend, Big Rodney Talbert.
This is where you walk home every day. Come on, I used to walk you down the hill.
I used to have a crush on me. We didn't have to bring all that in circle. Man. And then we were like brother and
Yeah,
sister.
we're friends.
We just
I
became
know,
real
I'm
tight.
just messing
Yeah.
with you.
After, went and go. We just became really close. Friends. No, but yeah, we was tight.
Yeah, we are.
Any other questions?
Let's give this game.
Wait. How about the practice? Because we have to just ask the question.
And you're gonna show the answers?
Yes. Okay, we asked the question. Now this is the you, me, and we game. At least I can the you, me, and we game. So we asked I asked ALishia, this or that. What would Tony choose?
We need to get his answer first before you say no, right?
No, we'll see what you say.
Why are we gonna see what he says first?
You say no, it's this.
Yeah.
We didn't choose.
Oh, yeah.
How that work?
If you say my answer, then he's just gonna repeat it. That's what I'm just saying.
Well, I got the power to prove it, but I can't really do it because I messed up and make up for y'all nothing. That's all I had on. It was just this or that. So the question was, Tony, steak or pork chops? And you wait a minute. I'm gonna hold on. Hold on. This is what he said. He said steak. He said steak. Oh, I'm sure that. Okay. Next question. Okay, I'm gonna jump to you, Tony. Good question for ALishia. I asked you Snickers or pumps,
And I said sneakers.
and you said. I got
Sneakers.
She said sneakers. It's on the card. What is Tony's favorite color? She actually gave two colors.
What?
I said, what would you say?
What's your favorite color?
Oh, black.
Okay, I said black.
She said black and yellow. Well, we go because he's Pittsburgh. Dude.
We had to change our wedding colors.
Yeah, that's why I asked you what your wedding colors were.
Yes.
We have black and yellow.
October.
Yes.
Yeah, because at first our colors were gonna be
Like I wanted like a
it was gonna
mocha.
be Cleveland brown colors.
Yeah.
Basically. And I was like,
That's all he saw.
you gotta change the colors, either black and gold or whatever.
It wasn't black and gold or whatever. We got to change these colors to black and gold. He wanted the Steelers
What the Steelers
emblem
emblem behind us, too.
behind the wedding party table. I fixed that.
What?
She used to tell people it's easier for her to change her religion than not be a Steeler fan.
Oh my goodness.
So, next question. If you had to encounter 500 snakes or one huge elephant, what would it be?
I said one elephant.
Oh, I said 500.
She said 500.
He does good with snakes. I mean, I'm like, but he does good with snakes. So I figured that the elephant would be like, okay.
You like snakes?
Yeah, they're okay. But I wouldn't want 500 of them. Take one elephant.
You want one of Okay. We asked you what ALishia's favorite ice cream was. Her favorite flavor.
I said mint chocolate chip.
She said mint chocolate chip. You know my favorite ice cream? No,
because you change up. You change up. Yeah, you change
I
up.
do though. Favorite toppings, favorite certain things I like within my ice cream.
Now you didn't throw a whole wrench in the plan. It's okay.
Even if the base was chocolate or the base was vanilla, I like which things in my
Sprinkles. Oh no, pecans. Caramel.
Yeah.
Tony does not like chocolate cake or chocolate ice
Oh wow. What?
cream. Yes.
Wait a
Nothing chocolate.
Nothing chocolate. Somebody in the family always had good German chocolate. Like nothing chocolate. Across the board. Okay, question we asked Tony about you. If you had to encounter, especially because of your job, 20 teenagers or 2 angry adults, especially in the field that you do, what would you prefer? And you said, Tony,
2 angry adults.
and you said,
2 angry.
2 angry adults. Done, yeah. Okay, I think that was about it.
That was it.
Yeah, because we only missed the elephant question. Oh, you guys did good. You somewhat know each other, huh?
Did you ask him my favorite color?
Nope.
No, that was your favorite.
Should ask him when my birthday was.
Don't do that. I told you no anniversaries. No.
You did good on the anniversary.
Yeah, he did.
No,
Yeah.
here.
Oh, no.
8/26.
Are you-
22nd.
But now here's the other thing. Guess who knows all the kids' birthdays?
Do you know all the kids' birthday?
Nope. Only know Anthony's.
Guess who knows them all?
Mm.
Wasn't even there.
Only little Anthony. Why do you know him?
Because it's 12 and it's easy.
12-1.
12 what?
12/1.
No, it's not.
I mean, what?
No, it's not.
We also want to present you with. Who are we going to present them with?
Oh yeah.
Men and dates, they don't get funds.
I wasn't even part of the equation then.
So we would like to present you with a you, me, and we mug.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming on. Like I had fun with you guys. This was good.
Thank
This is
you.
real good.
Yeah.
So
Think of us when you're drinking your morning Joe, your
He
tea.
doesn't drink coffee.
you
Well,
drink
tea,
tea.
whatever.
Tea.
I'm a tea drinker as well. I don't drink.
Thank you guys.
I don't
Thank
drink
you.
coffee.
Thank you for having
Oh
me.
yeah, we appreciate you for coming on.
Stopping
Definitely.
by.
Okay. Parting words of wisdom. We have couples out there who might have been married a year, 5 years, heck, 25. What would you leave them with?
You go.
Me go. I say all relationships have to have good communication. But I called my grandmother before I came tonight, and I asked her if she could tell married couples what to do. She, of course, had the response of, "Don't go to bed angry. Make sure you resolve things before you go to bed."
I just stay up all night. I'm just kidding. Okay, Tony.
I would say communication is very good. And if you're married, I mean, you made a vow, you made a promise, to that person, you made a promise to that person's family, and you made a promise to God.
Right.
So, you should stick by those vows and promises. I know sometimes it gets hard, whatever, but if you're able to work through the hard times, so I know sometimes some people are able to work through those hard times and, and it leads to divorce, whatever. But if it's not that bad, you're able to work through it and you work through it and you stay there and you stick it out. Like she said, I got that also too from my mother, never go to bed angry, those type of things. But then I always think about Deacon Bennett and Mother Bennett. I don't know if you guys know them. Deacon Bennett, he's gone now, but they have been married forever. And I asked them what their thing was, how long they stay together. They said when they would go shopping, she would go her way and he would go his way.
And I think that's another thing too, is like a lot of people get into relationships and they let that other person like encapsulate them, like they take on all those person's traits and they lose themselves in that relationship. And I think that's one thing with us is that we're still, like Tony said, we're both still individuals. There's things that I like to do, there's things that he likes to do, and we're comfortable with not having to be with each other at all times.
And it works. It works for you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you all for stopping on. If you enjoyed this, even if you didn't, please like and share. Just let other married couples know and those that might be engaged and thinking about being married that this is what it is. It's not all fun and games. It is not for the faint of heart, but I can tell you it's worth it. It's worth it. Sticking it out, like they said, growing something together, building something together. Because I wouldn't want to be single right now for nothing. There's too much craziness out there in the world. But through the grace of God and for us keeping God in the center, praying and going to God on behalf of our marriage, we make it. It's not easy, but we're here. So thank you. Thank you. Do we have any comments, questions, or anything you want to ask them? If not, we're out of here. Right? You want to pray us out?
This podcast.
Oh, sure.
Podcast, hopefully, it grows.
Yeah.
Hopefully more people catch on to, like you said, like and share, please.
Like and share.
Because this podcast is something that needs to be heard by other people and stuff, and could help a lot of people out there. Yeah. So kudos to you guys.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. All right, babe, pray us out.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for those that are out there in the airways. And Father God, we thank you for this couple. We ask that you continue to keep them,
Yes.
cover them, be with us and those that are out there. And Lord, we just give you the praise, honor, and the glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. All right, guys, we thank you all for stopping in. Again, please like and share, and we'll see you next week. We'll see who the guest is next week. All right, thanks. Have a great one. Bye-bye.